guys ready to go get something to eat?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's eat! Hi, welcome to Hunt and Gather with the Chatters. Today we're going on a muzzleloader antelope hunt. We're kind of excited about this hunt because it's not a hunt that you get to go on very often. My husband's actually the one that has the hunt, Aaron, and the last time he had this hunt was 23 years ago. My father-in-law's had this hunt, same unit, about 20 years ago, and then I had the hunt, the soonest or the most recent, and that was 7 years ago. But pretty excited, there's some good antelope in there, and we've done some scouting to prepare. So are you ready to go get something to eat?
So I'm super excited about this hunt. Like my wife said, it's been 23 years since I've had this tag. Because it's muzzleloader, we are trying to sneak a little bit closer, hoping to get like 150 yards or even better yet, 100 yards. So I got a few ideas because we're going to be hunting the flats. I've been seeing a lot of cows out there, so brown and black cows. So I might use this as a kind of crawl behind blind. It's also a nice shooting rest. We got the decoy. I've experienced where this works, and I've experienced where it's the worst thing you can do and they run the other way. But we might give it a try. And then this guy here is just some camouflage netting that I can see through. And it's actually a fishing pole holder that my buddy Phil gave me, and I repurposed it. But I can crawl behind like that. And then the beauty is it's also a shooting rest. So it's kind of an all-in-one. So I think this is going to be my go-to at first, and then I'll try these other things if it doesn't work out. But
that's what Aaron's looking for. Hopefully we can spot him one tomorrow.
we're hoping. Luckily, we've got my dad on the hunt. He's got the eagle eyes when it comes to seeing game.
I don't
So
know about that.
we're hoping he spots one like that and see what happens. Check out these geese just enjoying the day in the sun. Those deer rubbing their velvet off. Look at this really neat old homestead, you know, probably more than 100 years old, but it's super neat, and there's some old farm equipment over there. That's a pretty good buck over there. He's about 400 yards away.
Aaron's over in that tree, and he's trying to get a closer shot on those antelope, but they're just slowly but surely getting further away. There is a nice buck in that group though. think he's gonna get in range. He's essentially crawled half a mile. That's one dedicated individual. I don't know that Aaron can get any squatter. Hey, that's a big guy. I think he's gonna take the shot. All right, tell me what you know.
They got up and started moving, and I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna get a shot. And they moved out to about 200, and then he stopped for a split second, and so I aimed 4 inches high. And boom, and I didn't know if I hit him at first. I was looking at him with the binoculars, but he went out about 50 yards, and then he started wobbling, and then he flipped over. He's still laying in the same spot.
Okay.
But I've reloaded just in case. I've learned my lesson. Don't go up there empty-handed.
Okay.
So we're gonna walk up there and see if we got it. He's nice, he's thick.
He's so pretty. Holy cow, he's beautiful, hon.
Super cool.
Wow, and that's a smoking shot.
Yeah, I'm so excited, man. It is not easy getting one out here. It's so wide open, and to get within muzzleloader range, it is tough. But super cool.
Awesome shot. Awesome buck, honey. He's so great.
Check it out. I made this cool hat rack out of the horns. But pretty neat. It's actually functional because I do need a hat rack. Okay, so we got the antelope all butchered out. We're gonna do something cool. We're gonna take some of the backstrap and smoke it up. And so first we have to do a cure on it before we smoke it. The cure recipe can be found in our cookbook, which can be found on Amazon. But it'll give you the ratio of everything. But basically the ratio is 1 cup of brown sugar for a 1/4 cup of salt, and then a 1/2 tablespoon of pepper. So we're gonna mix that together in a bowl. And this will do about 1.5 pounds of meat. You would just keep that same ratio and make more or less of it depending on how much you have. Just gonna mix those 3 ingredients together. And this same cure works great for fish, birds like ducks, or any kind of wild game like deer, elk, or of course antelope. What we're gonna do in a glass baking bowl here, we're gonna just sprinkle a little bit on the bottom. Kind of pat the meat dry. So, and you want chunks of meat, no matter what it is you're smoking, about that big. You know, if it was fish, it could be a little thinner, but basically like that. So we're just gonna try to remove some of that moisture there. And then we'll lay it right in our pan. So now we're gonna sprinkle the rest of the cure on top. And we're just gonna kind of pack it in there a little. Okay, now we're just going to cover it with saran wrap and put it in the fridge for at least 4 hours, or you can do it overnight, but 4 hours is enough. And then after that, we'll end up rinsing it off, and we'll take you to the next step. Okay, our meat has been sitting in the fridge overnight, but again, 4 hours would have been plenty. So I took the saran wrap off. Now I'm just going to take each piece and rinse off all the cure on the outside. Under the sink, and then it'll be ready to put on the grill. Okay, so here's our setup. You can see it's smoking good. I got a little foil here to block off the smoke on the back and the side, so that the smoke has to come across my pan here over the top of my meat and then through that hole. But basically, I got an ordinary gas grill, and I'm only using the burner on this side where the skillet is, and that's where I'm putting my wood chips, or in this case wood pellets. And then the meat will be on this side, and that burner's not even working. And the goal is I want to keep the inside of this grill about 250 degrees. And I'm going to keep adding wood chips to this pan, just a handful every 20 minutes. And then in about 2.5 hours it should be done. But ultimately we want the meat to, since this is a plant-eating mammal, we want the meat to reach about 145 degrees. I do wet some of my chips, and then I have some chips that are dry. So I'll start out with some dry chips, and then I'll use damp chips after that, which is in that bowl. And that keeps it just from burning up the chips right away. When I look at that, I get the same feeling I got when I was 10 years old, pulling up to the gates of Disneyland. It's gonna be good. Okay, so it's been 2.5 hours. So we're basically done cooking the meat, and the reason we know that is because our thermometer does read 150, and 145 would have been okay. So now all we're gonna do is I'm gonna baste a little garlic butter on top of the meat here. And then we're just gonna let it smoke another like 15 minutes, and that's it. All right, after we basted the garlic butter on there, we smoked them for another 15 minutes and just took them off the grill, and they are ready to eat. Once they cool off too, you can freeze them and just warm them up later, but they taste great just straight off the grill too. Let's eat!
All right, come check this plate out. We got baked potato, zucchini, and the star of the show, smoked antelope.
And this is homegrown potatoes.
Okay, yeah, you're right,
And
that is a
zucchini.
star.
Homegrown potatoes and homegrown zucchini.
All right, I'm gonna give it a whirl.
All right, so
dip it in the horseradish.
one sentence or less, what do you think?
Tender. A little bit of spice. I think it's coming from the horseradish, but really adds to the sweetness and saltiness of the meat.
Yeah, I think it's really good. You can taste the smoke and it's really flavorful.
Delightful.
Ooh, I like that.
Cool. First time having antelope, it's very good. The smoke flavor definitely comes through. Very tender, very salty, really tasty.
I normally just do horseradish, but I did a little horseradish in John's homemade sauce mix. Now, just well-earned smoky goodness. Love
Yeah, and you had,
Let's not forget somebody's birthday.
That's true. I
Happy
turned 21 today.
birthday,
Yeah.
Aaron.
yeah, it actually is Aaron's, a couple days past Aaron's birthday, but we're celebrating it tonight. And you were kind enough to take the last bite, and you were kind enough to actually get the animal for us, so thank you so much.
Well, thanks for watching Hunt and Gather with the Chatters.
We'll see you next time when we go get something to eat.
And please subscribe, it's free.